Now, you would think that someone who wants to pursue a career in film would watch movies a good bit. But, believe it or not, I listen to music and watch TV shows more than I watch movies. Which may be surprising, but it's true. Don't get me wrong. I watch movies. Of course, just not a whole lot. Without further ado, let's jump into my world of opinions. This will be another one of those countdown videos, just like the previous episode, but this time I will actually have a top 5 instead of a top 3. Let's start from number 1, which will be Back to the Future. If I could, I would put the entire trilogy here, but if I had to go with one, I would go with the original. I have always been intrigued by the concept of time travel, so when a time travel movie this good exists, I'm all over that. This movie is considered a classic to the movie industry, and for good reason. Every single scene in this movie is as memorable as the last. The characters are extremely likable and relatable, and the effects are impressive for the time. What is there not to love about this film? The plot, the characters, the everything. It's a classic. Now, number 2 spot will have to go to The Empire Strikes Back. Once again, if I could put the entire trilogy here, I would. But I chose my favorite of the bunch, The Empire Strikes Back. This has always been my favorite of the original trilogy of Star Wars. This is the most mature film in the trilogy, and while it has a dark undertone added to it, it still remains to have everything you like about Star Wars in it. Intense action scenes, awesome space battles, and the best lightsaber duel in Star Wars, Luke versus Vader, which leaves you at the edge of your seat the whole time. This movie is incredible. Number 3 spot goes to Pink Floyd, The Wall. While it wasn't clarified in the My Thoughts on Music video, Pink Floyd is my all-time favorite band. In fact, I freaking forgot them and to put them in my favorite section of the video. Silly, silly me. This film is based off my all-time favorite album, The Wall. This movie follows the story of a rock star, Pink. While coping from the death of his father in World War II, Pink undergoes a cruel education, an overprotective mother constantly surveying him, and more factors from there, which drives him to build a mental wall around himself, isolating himself from the world. Using only music and visuals, with barely any dialogue, this movie gets its point across. It's quite amazing. It's a work of art, and I highly recommend this movie to anyone who is willing to take on a perplexing, disturbing, but beautiful film. Next up comes Halloween, at number 4 spot. Why? Is it not obvious? This movie with a minuscule budget created an entirely new genre of horror known as slasher films, in which none has or ever will match this cinematographic masterpiece that is Halloween. Like most horror movies, Halloween also faced the fate of weak sequels, with the first being a masterpiece, the second being okay, the third was good but it should have not been titled Halloween, and from there it got weaker and weaker, except for H2O, which was pretty good. Number 4 spot goes to Raiders of the Lost Ark, a well-written action film. Take notes, Hollywood. I've always liked this movie ever since I was little, with one of the best scenes in film history in the beginning, and one of the best characters ever, Indiana Jones, played by one of my favorite actors, Harrison Ford. There's barely anything not to like about this film. With intense action, good comedy, and great characters, a great film for just about all ages. And that's all, folks. Those are my all-time favorite films. I hope you maybe even agree with one choice, or even discovered a new film. Anyways, see you next episode, guys. Bye.